Hey guys, coming in quickly with a December update. I will break them down into the important things as they go, but I just quickly want to give you a little overview to be aware of, and also to reiterate that, whew, yes, we can breathe out, thank goodness. I've heard a lot of doom and gloom talk lately about people keeping purses closed and there's no 13 checks and everybody's in trouble and everybody's taking strain. And I 100% understand that and hear that because I've been in exactly the same position. But I mention this because of what is happening in December and really the meaning behind what I want to say. And that is that this whole year has been a year of taking stock. We've had, as you know, at one point we had 7 planets retrograde. That is hard. That's really hard. Everything is slowed down. We feel like we're blocked in many of those areas. If they are more prominent in your life map, you would have felt it more. Other people would have been propelled forward. And again, I'm always really happy if that has happened to you and you are in a position where you're not taking strain. That's wonderful. So that's great. But I want to mention on the 6th of December, Neptune is going to go, is stationing direct. Now, normally when we have a planet stationing direct again, we feel that forward movement, we feel that sort of block lift and that we've got a bit of flow there. But because Neptune is a little bit confusing, and I mean that with love, it's Pisces' ruler. It is really dreamy, and oftentimes when there's a Neptune transit in your own life map, you can have, interestingly, water problems like your geyser might burst, or also not doesn't just mean that though. If your geyser bursts, it doesn't mean Neptune's at play always either. It's just simply something that goes with it. But it brings about a bit of confusion, so we can be quite taken in. We could find ourselves falling for a scam because it is just too good to be true, but we don't necessarily at that time have that foresight because Neptune's at play and it's going, oh, it sounds amazing, it's so dreamy and so beautiful, let's do it. So when it goes direct, we still have that momentary kind of haziness at times. So practice clear communication. And I know that clear communication has not necessarily been easy this year because we have all been taking so much strain. And we have a lot of us at times just gone, what is going on here? I don't even know. So even to express to somebody else at times how we're feeling, what we need, what we think we need, even what we can offer each other has not necessarily come through clearly. So do be aware of that. Something else that's happening not long after that, on the 12th, is we have a new moon in Sagittarius, which is going to be great. That's bringing in all sorts of lovely things as far as expansion and learning, higher education, traveling, holidays, fun, all that beautiful stuff. But I will do a separate post just for those. But also on the 12th of December, we have Mercury going into retrograde. And that's normally about 3 weeks. And Capricorn is very much solid. It's live by the rules. I need rules. I have these intense goals. I'm practical. I'm loyal. I'm going to get there, any which way I can. So we can find ourselves being a little bit scattered in those areas now. It's a little bit of indecision, perhaps a little bit of forgetfulness where you would normally be on top of these types of things. It's now feeling a little bit like it's just filtering through your fingers. Okay. So when we're aware of that, it doesn't have that kind of power over us and we can often just laugh it off. But this is the big reason for this video today, is that because of the kind of year it's been and because of everything going direct now, I don't want you to feel anymore that you don't have money to invest in you and that you have to keep that money for the important things. Look, I know that one because there's many things I've wanted to do this year as far as workshops and courses, with other people. In other words, being the client as opposed to having the client. And I just have not been able to financially. So with some of them, I've reached out and we've bartered, or perhaps they were able to give a discount or any of those types of things. But going into next year, now really, really is the time to plan, and considering all the transits that we're experiencing. If we are not making ourselves number one, if we're not making ourselves as important as the grocery list, right, that's going to sustain our bodies to keep us alive, we are going to have a really, really, really sticky 2024, because things are happening really fast the whole time. And even though you might start to feel lighter, you might not necessarily have that hold on what it is you want. So again, you're walking into then possibly another year where things are just flying by you. You don't really know what it is you want, where to start. You might know what you want, but there's this overriding feeling of, oh, but I don't have the money, I can't do it now. Do it, however ever it looks. I say again, if you want to work with me, for example, you want to maybe do a little forecast, reach out to me. If you don't have what I'm charging, what do you have? Let me know. Maybe you have 600 Rand spare. That doesn't mean I'm not going to work with you. Do you see what I'm getting at? Or anyone that you want to work with. Reach out to me and say, look, this is what I do. Can we barter? I'm always open to that, because you know what, at the end of the day, you are important. And if we as ourselves are not full, like I've not been full this year and I've really felt it, and I can't say that I wish, because all of that is over, but I realize the detriment on the one side of not having taken that extra care of myself in the sense of planning, and even though I'm working with my life map, it's just still me, right? You still need that outside input. Perhaps you just don't see that one thing. I've worked with coaches where, they start off and you think, oh, okay, and then just there's that one thing and you think, oh my gosh, that was exactly what I needed to hear. Exactly what I needed to hear. But if I had thought that on my own, I would have brushed it off. Therein lies the value of filling our own cups. It doesn't mean that you have to do all the slugging on your own. We are here for each other. We absolutely need each other. So I really want to reiterate to you, if you are wanting to work with somebody and it's for self-improvement and you are putting that aside because you're worried about budget, please don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that to yourself. For any women listening who are mothers, or any men listening who are fathers, remember when you were speaking with your partner about, oh, can we have a child? How many conversations or how many families were going, oh, but we really can't afford it. Now, if we all thought that all the time, we would never have children, but yet we have them and we make it work. Okay. So I want you to think of yourself in that sense, where you want the best for you. And if you're somebody who doesn't even know that you need the best for you, that's even more reason to come and work with somebody like me, or a coach, or a counselor, or anybody who's going to be able to inject you with a little bit of self-love and a little bit of, fuck, you are so worth it. And if you can take yourself out of that, your whole life will change. Your perspective will change. Your mindset will change. Yes, you're going to have to work at it, but at least you are over the point of thinking that you don't deserve it, or you're not good enough to have it, or why should you have it, or you're never going to be able to afford it, or whatever the hell it is that might be your block at the moment. We have a full moon in Cancer on the 26th, so just as we're reaching the end of the year. Cancer is always very gentle, emotional, family-orientated, emotional security. It's very aware of the environment around itself. So it can be a very emotional one. Again, I will do a separate one on that. And then on the 30th of December, Jupiter stations direct. And that is really, really the motivator for me to have said everything that I just said now. Because Jupiter is our good luck planet. It really always wants to shine on us. It wants us to be happy. So when it goes direct again, now is really the time for that self-care and that investment in self, because excuse me, like I said earlier, when we have retrogrades, we feel blocks, and really very often, and we've had them all. I mean, all the stuff I'm talking about now, we've experienced in the retrogrades this year. Venus in retrograde, Very often it'll bring back old lovers or old people from your past. And that can be painful, right? That can also be amazing. It can be very healing. Perhaps you're going to be friends, however that works, but it can be very painful. When Jupiter stations retrograde, we can feel almost literally like our luck is being blocked, like that area where we normally have just that general comfort in and good luck and we know how it works suddenly goes, so when it goes direct, it's time again to allow that shining on you to happen, to allow that blessing to come down, to allow the expanse of what it is that we deserve. We are not going through all these difficult changes because we are unloved and we've been so bad and now it's punishment time. We're going through all these changes because as humanity, we have forgotten to look after ourselves and we've just been blindly following governments and institutions, and we've not only been following them, we've literally been squeezed dry by them. Whether it's tax increase, whether like in South Africa we have load shedding, but still they keep on raising our power prices. I mean, it's like, what the hell? But now, as we end this year where we've been taking stock all year long, even if we haven't sat down and take that stock yet, but we've had oh, I have to look at this. Whoa, this can't work anymore. Whoa, this is too heavy for me. I'm carrying too much. We have to stop and go, it can only start and change and grow with me. I can't expect my partner to do any of this stuff for me. My partner can tell me as much as he wants how beautiful I am and how much he loves me, and I feel that, and it's wonderful. But I have to know that. I have to leave my house and feel comfortable in my skin, feel the value and worth that I hold. Because if you don't, you will burn out. You will burn out, and then you're starting from an even lower point. So if it is that you are wanting to do a course, I mean, as it is, I'm going to be launching what people call big ticket, but my biggest program, which I've been working on for over a year now, and I'm really finally ready because I realized in the beginning, I didn't realize in the beginning, I realize now that when I started it and the name it had, which was Avalon's Child, it was beautiful. But then I realized I was Avalon's Child. That was for me. That was my own learning. That was my own doing of this beautiful 6-month workshop that I'm offering now. I had to go through that. And it wasn't a matter of me taking myself through, it was just happening around me that I had to come up with, how am I coping with this? Why is this a trigger? How do I deal with that trigger? And it's through reaching out to people around me that I have been able to look inwards. I don't want to say in the correct way because it sounds like there's a wrong way, but there are ways where we actually are harming ourselves. And I did a lot of that in my life already. Not physically or with drugs or anything like that, just here in my mind, the way I'm processing things. So through communicating with those around me, through getting feedback on their thoughts of what I'm going through and me, as well as seeing what everybody else is going through, this beautiful workshop has come about. But I have spent also at least a month going, I can't launch it yet because people, exactly what I said at the beginning, people don't have money and and so what do I hear when I talk to friends about it? That's what they'll say. But the truth is, that's not the sum total of who we are. And everybody out there in the world is not struggling. And those are the people that we need to enrich us with. Whether it's in our business, whether it's just simply to understand that we can also have more than what we think we can. That has very much been a theme of 2023. So I will be bringing out weekly videos as well, which is exciting. It was something I really wasn't actually keen on. I am always aware that we are, even though we're a collective as far as humanity, we are also so unique. But I realize these global transits over the last few years are affecting all of us in very similar ways. So this being my first one, it starts with a bang because it's all about you. And it's all about, please let's not do those old paradigms of, yes, I really need this, but my family needs X, Y, and Z. Therefore, I'm putting this on the back burner, because the more you grow into yourself and expand, the more the other things will flow, come together, and you will actually start to rise above any and everything you might have been experiencing. But that takes dedication, it takes commitment, and it takes the investment into yourself. So, happy December, starting tomorrow. And please know that the breathers are here. We will be leaving 2023 with only one retrograde. Uranus is still in retrograde, but that station's direct at the beginning of next year, I think around the 27th of January. So already you can see that what we're going into with is vastly different than what we were experiencing in 2023. So I send you lots of love, and yeah, we are here for each other so that we can fill our own cups. Lots of love.